and Brennan, what has I guess biggest question is what has the most surprising thing been about Brennan and Rin in this meta? For me, I feel like
I mean, yeah, good
yeah,
question. Solid question.
I feel like it's for me. I feel like it's really surprising not seeing Rin very much played very much in a lot of tournaments. That's actually probably the most surprising thing about Rin. Brennan, she's pretty straightforward. I mean, I feel like it was very obvious from the get go what she was going to be bringing, which was, you know, a lot of damage, fast damage, easy damage. Yeah. What about you?
So you're saying Brennan's easy?
I'm saying Brennan is easy to play, yes.
Oh, to play. Okay, I gotcha. I misunderstood there. I heard she's into choking. Ayo, sorry. All right. And
Whoa!
chains, chains, choking. Island is some stuff, you know. Some chanting. I got a little weird with the chanting though. Alright, so my opinion is, not surprised with how many people play Brennan, because I do think when you see that ability, you're just like, most people think, oh man, I can do 2 damage to things whenever I want? Awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you see a lot of people wanting to play Brennan. And it appeals to that direct burn crowd, the super burn the world down, just throw fire crowd. And
And we got a lot of
I'm a little
that.
surprised. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I am surprised that more people aren't playing Rin. But I think the reason is that I don't know if people know how to utilize the resource advantage that Rin gives you. I don't know if many players are comfortable taking advantage of a resource advantage like that as they are with just something as straightforward as dealing damage.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be why. Because with Rin, it's like you get the resource advantage, but you still have to be able to do something with it. Whereas with Brennan, it's just like it, the end. I mean, it gives you what you paid for right away, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably why you see the disparity in frequency of play. Another reason might be that people are want to go against the grain. They say, "Oh, Rin won the first expansion tournament, so I'm not gonna play Rin. I'm gonna play something else."
I mean, I can definitely see that. Maybe there's not. I mean, you described yourself as a spike player, which spike is a term from Magic the Gathering where uh, a spike player is essentially a player who loves to win and all they want to do is win. And maybe that's the case. Maybe there's not as many spike players in Ashes than there is in like other card games. Possibly, I don't know. Possibly, I don't know.
Possibly, possibly. Maybe we got more people who wanna do it on their own or with their own flair. I don't know. Maybe. I do think a lot of it comes down to apparent. I don't want to say ease of play because I don't necessarily think that Brennan's easier to play than Rin.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be. Maybe it's like learning curve. Maybe that initial slope looks a lot steeper for Rin than it does for Brennan, or not as apparent. It's weird because I think the path to victory doesn't seem as apparent in Rin as it does in Brennan.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
why you see that. I think you're going to see the same thing happen with Victoria and Leo because Victoria is a dice, another resource advantage based Phoenix Born, and again, the path to victory might not seem so apparent to people, whereas with Leo, they see anguish and they think, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna burn people's faces off like by playing anguish, and I'm gonna have this. And I've only played a couple games of TTS against people with Leo, but I noticed people aren't really leveraging the strength of that Glowfinch properly. And so I think a lot of it is just like, Anguish is this amazing card, and I'm gonna play Leo for this card. And I think you miss out a lot if you're not using the Glowfinch is really good. I think the Glowfinch is like as good as Anguish.
I mean, I feel like Glowfinch might even be better
It
than
might be
Anguish.
better. Yeah, it might be better than Anguish. I can definitely see that.
So Bob asked, how interactive do you guys want the chat to be? Super interactive. I mean, you guys can just like throw out stuff. I'm pretty much gonna be, you know, letting people know what you guys are saying. I mean, I've got the chat up on the stream as well, so everybody's gonna be able to see this as well when they're watching this on YouTube or, and also like I'll summarize any comments if people. I know some people like to just listen along while doing other things rather than just watching. So yeah, so have at it. So about the Leo and Victoria thing, I find that Leo is a lot more straightforward than Victoria, but compared to Brennan, I don't think it's that you know straightforward, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Hey, you mind promoting me
Yeah.
actually?
Oh yeah. Promote.
Thank you.
Um. Oh yeah, that's right. We might as well bring out. Yeah, I can bring it up. I can bring it up.
Oh, I can't create a custom deck when I'm not the. Dang it, that stinks. I'm guessing it's just by going up that. Hey, you mind promoting stuff for you?
All right. So Bob makes a really good point. Rin definitely does feel easier to play, um, and once again hard to master because you really have to. You can't just ice buff. Um, anytime you put down a unit that you really like, you really have to decide what is the best thing to ice buff. You have to really decide when you can use Rin's Fury to capitalize on your dice. Um, so yeah, and then Brennan, of course. Unfortunately, he doesn't really get his unique very often, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Did you want
Ooh, your link for the Twitch is missing the H in Tendal Horse, so you have the wrong Twitch linked on it.
Oh
Ash's
no!
Facebook group.
Oh no!
Here, I'll be right back. I'm jumping out real quick.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna. Let's see if I can get rid of a few of these. Options.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Oh, that's what you want to do.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I guess let's go ahead and just start up with this.
Let's do it.
So we got through Rin and Brennen. That's done.
Oh yeah. Wait, we gotta say it. Do you think Rin and Brennan have changed the meta? The Phoenix Borns themselves.
Oh, oh, oh. So much. I feel like they defined the meta. I mean, Brennan more so, I think, because you know we always say that Brennan's ability puts the match on a timer, and I mean before we were expecting games were lasting about what 4 rounds. Now with Brennan we're looking at like 3 rounds, average of 3.3.5 usually.
Yeah, I would agree because well, my biggest thing is that you have to, because you can have a deck of Brennan that's like a direct burn style deck, throws a lot of heat. That means when you build a deck for a tournament, for competition, you have to be able to handle that in some way. And so it actually directly affects your deck build and what cards you put in there. Because you're going to need something to handle all of this, whether it's Ice Trap or Choke or Chain Protection or Redirects or whatever. You
Yeah.
need something to handle it. I like how 3 of the cards I mentioned there come in the expansion, but we'll cover that.
All right. Let's go ahead and start off. We'll start off with Bloodchains. So Bloodchains, we both said yes, that it would impact
Oh man.
the meta.
And boy, were we wrong. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess there's not really much else to say. Bloodchains is a really good card, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we nailed that one. Um, it's it's a weird card because it makes itself stronger by existing. It makes itself better.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I counter Bloodchains? Oh, I Bloodchains in response.
Yep.
So that's kind of a weird way to make sure you get into the meta.
And the other thing is, now that I'm thinking about it, once you get Shadow Spirits down, Shadow Spirits are also an amazing card, amazing target for Bloodchains as well. You know, once you get like two or three Shadow Spirit summons down.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely would be a solid target. Um,
Especially considering that it's only one.
yeah, solid target
Yep.
for sure.
All right, moving on. Poison. So with poison, we both said no, that it wouldn't do very much. And I think that,
Yeah.
yeah, that pretty much was the case, right? We didn't really see poison very much. Um, very
I
often,
still
I
like the
think.
card, but I agree it hasn't been utilized much.
Yeah. I feel like Nick used it the best during the Tabletop Simulator tournament, where he played it down on an opposing creature or opposing unit, and it forced the opponent to have to attack with it, right? Because otherwise, you're basically just wasting it. You know, if you have an enchanted violinist down and they have a unit, a 3 life unit with poison on it, let's say a hammer knight, right? They technically only have one turn before that hammer knight is just dead. So that means that they have to attack with it, whether they want to or not. Otherwise, they just wasted 3 dice for nothing.
Yeah, well, they got 2 turns, but yeah, I hear you.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you play poison and you do an EV ping. Then if they do a main action and it goes back to you, that EV is going to take it out unless they, take care of the EV, of course. But that's basically what I meant. Is that during that exchange, it really speeds. It forces them to have to do something with that unit.
I don't know if it's terrible. I mean, it does. It's definitely helps, but I don't know if it would force me to because if they're gonna spend 3 dice to kill Hammer Knight, that's okay. If the 3 dice is okay to me. 3 dice and 3 cards actually, because meditate, EV ping, poison is a card in Avdana, and then another meditate and EV ping. That's 3 cards, 3 dice to kill Hammer Knight. I would actually risk it in most of the situations and say, okay, go ahead, spend the extra dice, spend the extra card to kill Hammer Knight in that. I think most of the time they wouldn't. They're gonna try to let the poison do it.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I don't like it as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're okay trading three cards and 3 dice for 1 card and 3 dice.
All right. Fire Archer. Fire Archer, we both said yes on this card. And this is another card that's a definite, yeah, it affected the meta big time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was to be expected. That thing is just 1 die, one one ambush, one attack so that you can bring it back and play again.
Yep. Yep. All
It's
right.
quite good.
All
Quite
right.
good.
So, so we've got one. Finally, we have one that we had differing opinions on. You said no on Chain of the Dead, and I said yes. Um, do you think you've changed your opinion, or do you still stick with it?
Nope, I haven't changed my opinion. I mean, because the question was, do you think this card changes the meta? And I don't think that this card changed the meta at all.
Uh, I am gonna have to agree with you after we've had more time to test out different styles and different decks. I was really hoping that this card would, um, there was like something that someone would have thought of, or like something, um, some crazy combo that someone would have done to really boost this card up, to the front, but there really hasn't been.
I think there's still that potential there. I just don't think the rest of the card pool is there to support it yet. But I still think Chain of the Dead's gonna come back and do a crazy combo at some point in time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that. The what I was basing it on was just this meta and what we have currently. So that was what I was hoping for. I was hoping that, the cards that we had would, someone would find a way to make it very, very useful. But unfortunately, it is, as Papa Pratt says, it is so hard to use. All right, so going on to the next one, the other chant. Chant of Protection. Chant of Protection, you said yes, it would change the meta, and I said no, or impact the meta, and I said no, it would not. Do you think you would change your opinion on this now, or no?
I don't. I still think it's a very big card in the meta. It's very good, in my opinion, for Brennan decks to stay alive while you throw heat. And it's also very good against that type of deck.
Um, I don't think I would change my opinion on it either. I mean, I said no on it, particularly because I don't feel like it's. I feel like it's nice to have when it comes up, but it's not really necessary in a way. I don't know. More, I guess the lower life Phoenixborn would have more use with it, but I don't know. I'm still kind of iffy on the Chain of Protection.
I mean, I can see that it's not something that you're like, oh, I need to put it in, and it can often be something that gets cut first. But I mean, I think, and not just lower life Phoenixborn, but someone like Brennan who wants to do it. If there's a deck that just wants to throw heat, it needs to survive long enough, because like we said, it's a clock. So if you can live through that clock longer than your opponent, you win. So Brennan playing Chant of Protection means you can just survive that much longer while you refresh your ability.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that I mean, I think the only reason, so if Brennan was not in this expansion, if Brennan didn't have this ability, I don't think you'd see Chant of Protect almost at all. I think the reason you see Chant of Protect in decks, period, is because of Brennan. If Brennan wasn't in this expansion, I don't think you'd see this card being played.
So Papa Pratt, Crispy Rat says, "Do you want it in a mirror match if board and burn is your win condition?" Um,
Absolutely.
I mean,
I think I agree with what Bob is saying the most, is that it doesn't change the meta, it just mitigated the new meta, which is kind of interesting.
yeah, that's. I think that's more along the lines of what I'm thinking of. Because like I said, it's not something that's you know really necessary in a deck. It's really something that you could cut out if there are better cards to put in there. So that's why I'm still on the fence with it. And like it's nice to have. It's nice to have when it comes up. and you know, like you've got a junk card in your hand that you don't really care about, and you're like, all right, well, I can put down Chain of Protection if you get it. If you're like near the ends of your, you know, at the ropes, near the end of the match or the game, and you've got 5 life left, um, then you're kind of almost you almost want to get it, but other than that, like there's really, I don't know.
I mean, it's weird how to evaluate it because I mean I just said that if Brennan wasn't here, if there was no mono burn like Brennan, no one would be playing Chain and Protect at all.
Right.
So does the card itself define the meta? Not really.
No.
So
And to Crispy Rat, yes, I do like the card as well. I do like the card, and I have seen very good uses for it. I just don't think that it really impacted the meta that much. I guess that's my point.
card most discarded to yeah, that's right. The card most discarded to Chain of Protection is definitely a second Chain of Protection or EV. Or it can even be a card that you just don't think you're gonna play. But most often it's gonna be a second Chain of Protection or EV for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to Choke.
Oh yeah.
So Austin doesn't really like this card, but I guess he's.
He changed his mind. He changed his mind. He's on the bandwagon now.
Yeah, right. So yeah, we both said yes to this card. I don't think I saw very much of it though. During the I mean, you know, like out of all the tournaments that I've seen, and out of the tournament results that I've seen, like we really don't see Choke very often, right?
Which it's really good. I mean, it's really strong. I think we should be seeing more of it than we are. It's just people have trouble with. I mean, deck slots are very tight, and with something like Choke, where you're like, oh, I don't know how useful it's gonna be. I think it's good enough to be a 3 of in any deck with Ceremonial, actually.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's what I was thinking too. When we were going through this the first time, I was thinking, you know, like a bunch of decks were going to have this. Just because during that time, Aerodel was pretty highly used, Jessa was pretty highly used. I mean, it doesn't really do a lot against Jessa, but
It does. I mean, if you're not using it against a Phoenixborn's ability, you're using it on a unit's ability, which
right,
can be big.
Right, yeah, I mean, I know an EV ping, it's essentially 1 die and a card for 1 die and a card. So,
But it can be the difference between Jester removing a unit, like the fact that it can surprise your opponent and they thought they were going to get rid of something and now they don't, and you bought an extra turn with that unit can be make a difference.
right.
Or hitting things like Fire Archer. We just covered Fire Archer being popular. Hitting things like Fire Archer, or hitting things like Stormwind Sniper, hitting a Bear Freeze. There's a hitting. You could hit Spite with it also. Everyone's playing bears.
Yeah. Yep. So Crispy Rat says that it's obvious post Leo, Victoria, and Auric. See, I feel like it was. I feel like it was very useful before Leo, Victoria, and Auric, because you know, once again, going through all the things that you said with Spite and with against all the Phoenixborn abilities and all that. But we still didn't really see it very often, you know? So
You know what? I'm surprised.
So, I don't know.
I'm surprised we didn't see it with Ravens more often in Saria, and I don't know why it didn't dawn on me either. Mostly, probably because not a lot of people play Saria, but like, Choke makes a Raven difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Now,
true.
there's still a Violinist, so Violinist is still a huge problem for Ravens, but it answers a lot of other things that hit Ravens.
I mean, you could choke an EV as well. So.
Yeah,
And
well, the problem with the EV is that it's gonna, even if you choke it once, eventually they'll put 2 wounds on that Raven, and if you don't have the recover, that Raven's gonna be dead at the end of the round.
so at that
It's just too
point,
consistent of a ping.
but then at that point, the EV has already spent three dice to take out 3 dice worth of your you know Raven anyway.
Well, you can also, by that point, you can start buffing that Raven so it's not dead yet,
Right,
and
right, right.
lives
But
through the round.
I'm just saying, like, die for die, um, that EV has to do a lot of work in order to in order to kill that Raven.
Well, it does 3 and you pay 4.
Oh yeah,
Technically, you
yeah,
pay 3
yeah.
for Raven,
Yeah,
1 for choke.
because of choke. That's right. I forgot about the whole point that
Yeah.
we were talking about it.
But other than that, it's awesome because it stops Brennan from killing a Raven, and it stops Stormwind from killing a Raven. It stops Fire Archer kill. Basically, it makes it so your opponent. The problem with Raven with True Life is like you can't. It's hard to play Raven and then it be alive when it comes back to you because there's a lot of ways to kill it quickly. Unless you immediately root armor it or immediately buff it with the charm die, and choke protects it pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh
The
man.
best card in the game.
So what do we think about Black Cloud Ninja?
Easily the best card in the game. Easily. I mean, I wish it wasn't a Brennan exclusive because, man, so good.
See, I think, I feel like Iron
Actually, in Rin,
Rhinos.
wouldn't be terrible.
No, it wouldn't be terrible in Rin.
Still not good.
Honestly, anything in Rin wouldn't be terrible. I mean, what were some of the ones that we said no on? Oh, we'd have to wait until Freezing Blast. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll wait till we get to that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Black Cloud Ninja. Very rarely seen.
We both said no. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think during our call-offs it was pretty impressive though.
It was a house in Kolos, but then it just dies, and yeah, it's a fun card to play for sure. It's a very Timmy card. No, it's a Timmy where you just want to do something fun. I don't know what you would describe where you just want to do something like very showy and flashy but not effective.
Next one, Regress. Regress.
Oh
We
yeah.
both
Wait,
said
what did we
yes.
say? We were correct.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the best, and with Leo coming out with the Finch, it's even better because the Finch can't stop you from regressing a unit.
Wait, what?
So let's say they had a Hammer Knight out, and you're like, oh, I have to deal with this Hammer Knight, and Aridel's like, well, normally I would Fire Archer Water Blast the Hammer Knight and it's gone. But if
Right.
Leo has a Glowfinch, I can't do that anymore because the Glowfinch can just use its to decoy and grab the Water Blast away, and the Hammer Knight lives.
Right.
But if I play Regress, the Glowfinch can't do anything about that. I can play Regress right onto the Hammer Knight. It's a guaranteed way to
okay.
deal with the Hammer Knight on the board first turn.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely a good point. I thought you meant playing the Regress on the Glowfinch. I was like, what? That makes no sense.
No, that's silly.
I mean, I guess you could if you really wanted to.
So that you can get a free refresh on decoy?
Yeah, right? Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, so Regress. Yes. Definitely did impact the meta quite a bit. Crimson Bomber. again, we both said yes, and I think I mean we both understand the reason why. 2 dice for a 3 attack. Um, there's nothing really.
It's it's good. I don't think it's as good as we originally thought. Well, it's not as game changing as we thought, right? Because I do think it's a good unit. I do like it. I don't know if it's super impacts the meta. Um,
I mean, the ice trap threat was a big one, but honestly, I feel like it did impact because it's like it's one of those cards that really helped define the fast-paced nature of this meta.
that's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
You know, you have, Crimson Bomber, Fire Archer, um, and then, the cards that are in Rin's deck. They just kind of made it so that fast or cheap and efficient damage could be done, essentially.
Right.
I mean, you're paying. What I saw a lot of was Crimson Bomber attacking bears, and during the first round, you're essentially paying two dice to take out 3 dice worth of a unit. At least during first round.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. You usually feel pretty good if you were throwing a bomber at a bear. You don't
Yeah.
feel bad about it because it cleared out that bear for you.
yeah. All right, and finally, summon Dread Wraith and the Dread Wraith. We both said yes.
I don't know if we were correct. I don't think we were.
Yeah, I feel like it. We were thinking that it was going to, the sixth life aspect was going to really change things. But then, it just kind of brought out more Hammer Knights and it brought out more bears and just the fact that
Things
there
that
were
deal
more.
with Wraith, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the 3 ceremonial cost is super prohibitive. Makes it actually difficult to play. Which I think we might see with this guy, is that this cost ends up being prohibitive, but we will see. The color cost specifically.
so I think what's interesting about the next meta is because of the prevalence of illusion. Now, granted, there are going to be people that don't play illusion well. But because of the prevalence of illusion, I think we're gonna see a lot fewer 3 die types and more 2 die types. Do you think that's pretty safe assumption?
I don't know if we'll see a lot more. I think we'll see the same amount.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a lot more like 7-3 or 6-4 spreads than we currently do.
Yeah.
Because right now we see a lot of 5-5 and a lot of 4-4-2. And I think you'll see a lot more 7-3. I think 7-3 might be one of the sweet spots actually coming up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Cause I mean, um, just taking what we have now, um, just taking the cards that we have now, I can see myself making a lot of like 7-3 decks, um, possibly even 6-3-1 decks, because I kind of like that one charm open memories plan.
It's actually pretty fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a bad plan at all.
It's a really cool idea, and I like it. All right, so that's it for Brennan and his deck, or her deck. I keep doing that. I don't know. I think I've done it. I think that was the first time I did it. Anyway, all right. So let's go on.
What's the
with
score?
Rin.
Let's tally it up.
Oh,
We were both wrong about this.
we were so wrong about Bloodchains.
We were think we were both right about this and this. Obviously, so good. This. I was probably wrong about this one. And the way I thought it would be big, it's not the same. Then we even out our scores here, because you said yes, I said no.
Yeah.
We both said this card's
Yeah.
amazing. We both said this card is not amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then, so overall, I think we were both wrong twice.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
We're pretty good. We're 8 for 10.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
All right. So let's see what happens with Rin. All right. Starting off, Freezing Blast. Freezing Blast. We both said no. I still really, really wanted it to be good, but I mean, it's just, there's no point to it because Molten Gold exists, and you don't really have that many units with status tokens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with Illusion coming out, does Strange Copy become a powerhouse? Because Freezing Blast is the Strange Copy killer. I mean, think about it. If someone shadow invert, like does a shadow inversion shenanigans, that's exactly what you want a Strange Copy.
That's true. I mean, if you invert a Shadow Hound, that's 5 damage, right? So that means that the Strange Copy is gonna have is gonna be a 5/5.
The tricky, yeah, I think the tricky part of Strange Copy is it relies on your opponent playing a deck that, well, actually, Shadow Inversion says any unit, right? So you can actually body inversion. So you can actually body invert an opponent's unit and then Strange Copy it later.
Oh, yeah. So you could body invert a Dread Wraith.
Dread Wraith, then Strange Copy and ping it. I mean, it takes a little while,
Yeah,
but you so could.
Yeah, it would. And it also takes 4 dice.
A lot of dice, yeah.
Yeah.
But 4 dice for a 6/6? I mean, it's only the last one round, I guess.
I mean, I guess you could then try to Hypno in. Right?
I think there's probably better things you can do with 4 dice.
Yeah. I mean, still at that point, it's 6 dice for 6 damage. So, but yeah, no, you definitely have better things that you could do. All right. Next
And
up.
does Freezing Blast help against the 6/6 Strange Copy? I guess it makes it a 2/2. Or no, it doesn't make it a 2/2. It just makes it a 4/4 that has 2 wounds on it.
Yeah, wounds on it.
I guess it's not that great in that situation. The sweet spot is on a 4/4 Strange Copy. I don't know if we'll see this card be used for a while.
Yeah.
Once the Gilder becomes more useful with more status tokens, then we might see this guy.
But until then.
But then Gilder just gets stronger. Do we really want Gilder to get stronger? They put a lot in that little mouse.
Next up we have Frozen Crown, which we also said no on.
I think we were correct.
Yeah.
It's too much. You're putting three dice onto a unit that literally they can pay 2 dice for Regress, and it's gone.
Yep.
Or they can Bloodchains. There's just a lot of ways that you can make them lose value on 3 dice because it's just not. Yeah, it's just not there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, Next one is Rin's Fury, and we both said yes. And I mean, you're basically getting 2 extra dice for the round that you have it. So yeah, I feel like it definitely did impact the
Card's
meta.
garbage. I would never play that. Even if I played Rin, I wouldn't play that card. It's the Black Cloud Ninja. It's what Black Cloud Ninja is to Brennan. Rin's Fury is to Rin.
I I'm not gonna agree with that. I'm sorry. Though I will
Obviously,
say
it's very, very good.
I will say that I don't think I've seen anybody use the ping damage.
There's some situations where you use it, but most of the time you just want the dice.
Yeah,
And
but
it's very infrequently that you roll frogs on those rolls.
yeah. But I mean, even when, because remember we issued that challenge, win a tournament by rolling all 5 frogs or rolling frogs and just dealing straight damage to the Phoenixborn.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
Because you're like, oof. You gotta
nobody's
roll
done
those
it.
frogs.
Nobody's done.
You gotta roll the frogs. Also, you have to have Rin's Fury in your hand when they're in range to get burned out.
I feel like that's
It's a tough challenge. That challenge is still open though.
it is still open. 5 frogs, 5 damage, 5 life.
One win.
Crystal Shield.
What did we say about this one?
So Crystal Shield, you said no, and I said yes.
Well, silly, see?